I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, no, I've done it the wrong way around. I've gone an hour over and I haven't seen it. Sorry.
He must have a horseshoe up his ass.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona...
2 years ago. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was.
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground?
Hello and welcome to another ramble from the Honest Football Podcast, where we bring honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm Craig Savage, and with me as always is Daniel Cody and Charlie Betts.
Yes, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about footballing stories from around the world. All of the positives, all of the negatives, you'll find them right here.
So how's your week been, guys? Any food-related stories?
It's not been too bad, Craig, but I have to say one thing. I have got a food-related story.
Oh.
But this week, I've managed to pull off the double bounty and tie it in with football.
The double bounty?
Yes, double bounty.
The bounty's not part
Not
of the
quite
story.
a bounty.
yeah.
The bounty's not part of the story. But
Oh.
the company that makes them are, I believe, if it is Cadbury's, and I'm right in saying so.
Yeah, it's Galaxy.
No, you might be right, because they're in celebrations, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Anyway.
Shall we move on?
Anyway, yeah, so what happened to you this week, Cody?
By the way, there's nothing wrong with Nestle. Carry on what you're doing. Right, okay. You may call me a child, but at 25, we're coming up to Christmas.
Yeah.
And in my household, it's quite Christmassy. So, as a part of that, we all have an advent calendar.
Good, solid.
Just like you would if a child was living there. But they're old, we're all adults. But this year, we upped the game a little bit. Instead of the cheap £1 flimsy crap, we went and got ourselves slightly more luxurious advent calendars.
Oh, okay.
And
Lovely.
the one that was selected for me, I was not there in the partaking of the decision, was one from Cadbury's.
Yep.
And the reason it was chosen for me is because it was named the Cadbury's Premier League Milk Advent Calendar.
Oh, here we go. Right, and is this the football tie?
Treat Club Selection Pack, 200 grams. So it's quite chunky chocolate, the first bit. Most important, it's good. It's better quality of chocolate. However, and now we get onto the football. This is called a Premier League calendar. You may remember me saying that 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
What resemblance to football do you think it might have? Do you think the
boot?
chocolates might be
Shaped like a football-related item.
Shaped like a ref.
Going back to last week, well done. No, you'll be wrong to hear. And what else? If it's not about football, what would you expect it to be about? Maybe
Santa.
Christmassy?
Yeah.
Well done. Santa, reefs. Reps.
Yes, yeah. Reindeer,
Etc.
etc. Yeah.
Well, what I was...
Sorry, a log?
Do you mean a Yule log?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not that sort of log.
Just the tree stump. Right, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Portland Timbers, couldn't it?
Go on,
Well,
yes.
I can tell you, the closest resemblance I found to football in this calendar is the small picture of a football that says Cadbury FC on the front.
Right, okay.
And more importantly...
They're real side.
I'm going to take you through, I've forgotten what number 1 is, but from 2 to 6 what the chocolates were, okay? And then 7 today was an absolute humdinger. Okay, so number 2, okay?
Right, before we start, this is just plain chocolate. There's not going to be any surprises.
It's not like
flavour
caramel
or
and
anything.
Oh, no, they're all plain, just solid
Okay,
chocolate.
so that'd be too much for me if I'm
It's
honest.
the
It's
pictures we're talking about.
It's dairy milk or nothing else.
So number 2, we're talking about a football calendar and the Advent to Christmas.
Okay, right, we're getting there.
A truck.
Yeah. I can understand
Is it the
why.
tactic truck from ITV back
because
in the day?
it's the head of football's truck when he's collecting all the footballs with the miters. He's now part of the chocolate scheme.
Okay.
No, if you look closely, you see Andy Townsend in there from the Premiership. Do you remember there? He used to have the tactic truck back in the 2000s.
Oh yeah, when all the balls were going down the
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Moving on to number 3. Okay, so I thought at this point, once we got to number 3, it was a bike. And I thought at this point...
Like a push bike.
Like a push bike.
Well, some
it
people
might have been
would-
motorised, it's hard to tell, it was in chocolate form.
So some people do travel there by bike.
Yeah, but at this point I thought, that's fine, maybe they're going for toys and decorations that you find under the tree.
Yes.
So then we got to day 4 or 5.
Must be a box.
What was day 4 or 5?
Like a present wrapped in a bow or whatever.
No.
Must be a ballerina.
No. A bell with mistletoe and then a snowman.
Well,
So they've remembered this Christmas now. Hey, I tell you what, 21 days, just 3 weeks to go, we're getting Christmassy.
I can't help but think you might have been duped, like, not you, but whoever bought it has been duped by the Premier League aspect of it.
Possibly.
Oh,
It's
wait,
got nothing
wait.
to do with the Premier League
wait
whatsoever.
to the Easter version.
And then I thought, okay, they're getting into the Christmas spirit
Yeah.
now, we're really getting it. So we get back to today's one.
Okay.
What we got? An old-fashioned car.
Well, people drive.
I promise you, this advent calendar has been closer to bloody tokens from a Monopoly board than it has anything.
Do you think they got mixed up with McDonald's?
There's an exit. He'll get a big battleship tomorrow. Or something like
If you go to jail on day 20,
I apologise for doing that when you had a drink in your mouth.
What's that thing that the fun thing you sewed? It'll be one of those or whatever.
he'll get the
Thimble.
iron.
Thimble, that's it.
He'll get the iron, and then come day 20.
Yeah.
Day
And
22.
the cat new for 2012 or whatever.
Day 22, you'll be going to jail.
Oh,
So what I just basically wanted to say to Cadbury's is, why have you called this a football advent calendar? And why have you called it an advent calendar?
What I would love to hear, if anyone's actually listening as well, if anyone else happened to buy this calendar, and
Can you please
I would
let
like
us
your
know?
feedback on it, to know that if you got the same ones on the same day, or whether, you know, it was obviously the same chocolates, but were they in a different order? Is everyone in the country who bought this getting a truck on day 2?
I mean, I brought up the website so I could show you the picture after to make you laugh.
Why
Just
don't
so
you
can
go to
tell
Cadbury World and complain? They're making it for you.
We're going to tweet them directly to you.
I
Don't you worry.
want free
It's got
tickets.
4-star reviews.
What, Cadbury World?
I mean, unless someone's
Oh, look,
opened
the
it all and
advent
realised
calendar.
there's a football at the end or something. I have no idea what's going
Is
on.
there day 25?
I'm not sure, actually. I think there is.
I've got to be honest, I'm very
That's a
quick
bit
detour.
frustrating, by the
That
way.
really annoyed me when you had an advent calendar that only went up to 24.
Yeah, that's
that
so annoying.
annoyed me more
Well,
than anything.
what is the
You'll
point
be
of
pleased to
having
know this pack contains 24 chunk assorted shapes.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
But they've sold it as a Premier League calendar, and the description is 24 chunk assorted shapes, and it just says a special edition Premier
Let's
League
be honest,
edition.
you don't get much more assorted than a snowman, a truck, and a car, do you? To be fair, like,
Don't forget the bike and the bell and mistletoe.
You would think like they would have for a Premier League one. They go, all right, we're going to do all 20 clubs, and then you have a football
And a
whistle,
lion, maybe,
a
or-
lion, a football, and a whistle, and a ref.
maybe Mike Riley or something.
Maybe
Do you
Mo
think they
Salah
just
will
maybe
show
gave
something.
the first 3 to like a car dealership and then the next 2 to someone who loves Christmas? I don't know.
Oh,
It's
God.
absolutely, it's not frustrated me or annoyed me, it's just absolutely blown my mind. Every day I come down and I go, oh, this is going to be an actual treat to find out what I get today. So in one way, it's
we'll
doing what
make
it
a
does.
prediction and we'll see if we're
True-
right. Of what
truly.
we think tomorrow's chocolate will be.
I'll tell you what, for the rest of this podcast,
We will tweet every day.
every day I will tweet what comes in the
Okay,
advent
right.
calendar,
That-
and we will review each week.
Me and Charlie predict it, and then Cody will tweet it out.
So, sorry for stealing the intro again.
No.
Have you lads been up to much, or are you going to try and top that?
No, I can't top that.
No.
No, to be honest, no.
And now it's time for Ramble of the Week. And so we start with a little funny story happened in Argentina in the 3rd division.
You call it funny, I call it annoying, but you know, carry on. I know the world disagrees with me.
Well, what happened was the dogs come out of nowhere. The goalkeeper's trying to kick it out, hits a player. I think it's a bit cheated. I don't think that would have been given if the.
Well, this is in a 3rd division.
I don't think it would have. I think it would have been disallowed anyway. So the ball.
Yeah, I'm
kicks,
not entirely.
The player blocks it.
You say that. I mean, a few years ago we had that. I know we're not a Premier League podcast, but you had the whole thing with the ball at Sunderland when it hit the beach ball, and that got, you know. But as far as I'm aware, that shouldn't have actually been allowed. I think the referee naffed up on
No,
it.
it shouldn't have been
I don't
allowed.
think
It's
it would
outside
stand.
interference.
But yeah, I don't.
So keeper smashed the ball with the player, tries to block it. Ball rolls towards the goal. A dog appears out of nowhere like Randy Orton and blocks it out of the goal.
What have you got?
What I was going to say in the intro is, where were you going from my food story to a nice ridiculous segue? But you brought one up straight away, so well done, mate.
Thank you.
But
So-
yeah, but it's not the first time, because if you remember actually a couple of weeks ago, there was some like five-a-side match where the same thing happened.
Yeah, it was a penalty shootout, and then the
basically-
Five-a-side's not a sport, is it, Craig?
No,
No, it's not a sport.
It does beg the question, like you said, on a serious note. How on earth does a dog get... Having said that, I don't remember at Celtic years ago, a fox got on the pitch.
It's happened in top flight games. It just
Oh,
it's
you remember
unacceptable
You
stewarding.
remember back in the 60s where a guy's got the dogs come on the pitch and took out one of the Leeds players in the FA Cup
Don't
game,
remember
Colchester
that.
Leeds, literally years ago.
Right.
And it ruined that player's career. He didn't play after that.
I mean...
Literally, dog.
Did it ruin it? Like,
Yeah, he did.
what, he got tackled by a...
Literally, yeah, the dog, like the ball went to the goalkeeper. The dog just charged at him, took him down, and didn't really play again after that.
Well, that's a lovely lighthearted moment, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but
Craig?
it's yeah. So obviously the dog will appear out of nowhere. He saved it, but the thing is, you don't find that funny. What's wrong with it?
I just find it aggravating that
Why is it
Stewart
aggravating?
hasn't managed to stop that.
I mean,
issue.
they're not exactly inconspicuous, a dog, is it? Like a mouse
I
or something,
don't
get
think-
that.
a bird, a mouse, something like that, you can see it coming. But I mean,
Well, you can't see it coming.
No, even by your standards, that's bad. But a dog, you would expect to stop it. But it was a great save. That's the one thing.
It was so.
It was right in the bottom corner. I'll tell you what, a goalkeeper won't get in
I
there.
tell
was
you,
he?
I don't accept the dog being on the pitch, but it was a cracking save.
It was a cracking save. As a goalkeeper, you've got to appreciate those things.
Yeah, so, yeah, agreed. Now, moving on to Swindon now, because I think we talked about that.
Oh, Swindon.
I don't know, did you read? I don't know. They're just a nice heartwarming story about a fan. So, a fan, Derek Elston, I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Last time he missed a Swindon Town match.
I saw this. Yes.
Saturday, the 5th of December, 1981.
Yeah.
So he's actually got to, I think it was his
It's
2000.
a 2000.
Was it 2000
Yeah,
game?
it's
Oh yeah, I saw an
Yes.
Yeah.
highlight.
So, yeah, I think
Congratulations, by the way.
Well, first game was in 1967. You know, blah blah blah. Moving on, he's 68 now. But yeah, that's an incredible effort.
Great dedication.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately, it does feel like maybe I know we've mentioned about this before, this iFollow and all that sort of stuff. That generation of fan is going to go, and I don't know if you're going to get as many of those sorts of stories.
Most people in our generation, let's be honest, will go, "I've got a bit of a sniffle, I can miss this."
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can watch it out home.
You're a christening or something like that.
Yeah. Only one of us here has done that, haven't we? If you're happy to, lads, I'd like to move on to a story from today that's absolutely baffled me. The article's from today where the announcement's been made. I'm not sure if the announcement was today, but we'll go with it anyway. So the FA have, in principle, agreed to introduce a new rule, which allows teams in junior football to field more than 11 players if they're losing heavily.
Oh, no, I've heard about this.
What?
I've heard about this. No,
because the proposals have been going through for a long time, but it's actually been provisionally approved.
This happens in school sport. So obviously, I work in a primary school teacher. In netball, it's 5-a-side at the minute. If the score goes past, let me get this right. If it goes past 9-0, you can have 6. You can bring an extra person on. And that happens in netball in school at the minute. So, like you say, it's going to happen in football.
So, the FA chief, Martin Glenn...
Martin. What the fuck
Glenn,
are you doing, man?
Labelled power play scheme.
It's cricket.
It's
like playing bingo on your iPad, isn't it? Let's bring it down to a normal level.
Oh,
no.
It's the official announcement. FA chiefs hope the new power play scheme will stop youngsters getting upset on the pitch when they are losing heavily.
It's hard though. I mean, look, on a serious note, because I go to lots of meetings about this sort of stuff. You know, there's a lot of people who don't want sport to be as competitive. Sorry, at that age, don't want it to be as competitive as it is. So they scrap all of the leagues, all of this,
which is the right way to do it.
Yeah, and they have this like almost a bit like in the baseball when they have like a mercy rule where if you get past a certain number of goals, they basically either you put on an extra person or you stop the game. Until, obviously, I think so. For example, I think in the school football, I think if it gets past 12 goal gap, you just call the game off.
Well, I went to an under 10 game a couple weeks ago, and it was played in a good spirit. No,
you might have needed to give some context to that.
No, my cousin was playing.
Okay, right, that's fine. Yeah,
that's all the context we needed.
My cousin was playing for the team against. Right. Don't matter. But the game was played in a good spirit, man. The team went 3-0 up early. The other team came back. It wasn't like, we'll just let's bring an extra player on. It wasn't. The other team came back, eventually won the game. So it wasn't like, and the team that lost obviously come back. Was fine about it. No, damn, I'm upset and anything like that. They put it on accepted it, took it on the chin. And
what I would say, just because I see it in my job quite a lot, that especially in school football, you'll probably remember this when you were at Hillborough, you can have such a gulf between teams that it is in
a 20 goal swing.
Yeah, and so you try your best. So I've done it before when you've had a school match where you then put the goalkeeper up front. You try your best and you take.
I did that with me. I saw that.
Yeah,
if I score actually, there's a problem.
That's what happens. So to a point, I can see if you happen to have a golfing class, how do you get around that? I think sometimes you'd have to look at the way that the leagues are structured, that these teams are playing against each other in the first place.
Well, that leads me on
but it doesn't need to be like 6 players or 12, 13, 14 to go on the pitches to make it even again.
And
that's not fair. That's not football.
It's right though. That perfectly leads me on to points about this, because there were a couple of positives and negatives that came out of it. And all the people moaning about it saying, you need to breed a winning mentality, which is the wrong way to look at it. Mm-hmm. And the others saying, well, it's an excellent idea. It gets rid of this win at all costs attitude. But does it? Because what you're saying is, you bring on some more players so you can go and win the game. How does it get rid of a win at all cost mentality when you're saying, you're losing, so we're going to give you more players so you can win the match?
I think they basically learned from FIFA, the game, when you get that rule of
which is nowhere to be learning from. Let me tell you that.
I've just scored. Right, my player's coming off.
But then, what do you do then in that situation? Because if you have a cracking team. If the opposition bring on 13, we've got 13 players, and you're still putting more past them, what do you do then?
I thought Craig was actually talking about our upcoming game series where, I've scored a goal, I better hack everyone down and get a red card. But you'll see more from that soon.
I would say that's a more sensible tactic than that sort of stuff.
My problem, just to round this one off, is the way it's been approached is wrong for me. If the problem is that there's such, like you say in school football, is about giving people a chance to participate. You can't know what school you're from, what standard of players you've got. It's a bit like international football at kids level, isn't it?
To a point.
And for that reason, I would say, just scrap the competition. Teach players how to play technically like they do in other countries to avoid this problem.
So are you saying that scrap a league format, just play friendlies?
Yes. Not even play friendlies. Teach the players to be footballers. If you're talking about winning mentality, then this thing does nothing, because all it does is teaches players, well, I tell you what, If you're going to get in a strop, we'll give you some more players and you can win. It's not.
I definitely don't agree with this.
What they do.
And hang on. 5 kids at like 10 years of age. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. No, you're right. No.
5 kids at 10 years of age, and then you bring on 8 against them just because they're winning 4-0. Yeah. How does that help them? Because now they're not going to get a kick of the ball because there's 8 of the others.
Well, that was the point I was going to make. Is more players doesn't necessarily mean more fluent or an easier team to play.
An on-size pitch.
How are you supposed to train these kids to play football when you go, alright, well, we're winning. Oh, sod it. Let's just play whoever.
If anything, I don't agree with this in any way, shape, or form. I don't. But if you were to do anything, I would say you're better off taking the team who's winning, have a player off. And I'm not saying that we should do that.
Yes,
but I'm saying that makes more sense to me than to add more players.
Because what you're doing
onto a small pitch as it is.
As a coach, you're then saying, well, we've now got to teach a side that would normally play 7 aside how to play 9 aside. You've got to teach them 2 new positions because in case you're losing, you might be on to 9.
Yeah, completely different.
Sorry, what did you say the age gap? What age was this going on?
It's just labelled as junior football at the moment.
Because what they do with the they do that though, don't they?
But it does say about playing with 12 or 13 players, so it might be up to teenagers.
Well, that's from year 8.
When people are at their stroppiest.
Just to finish it off in the school sort of thing perspective, with the rugby tournaments, what they do is it's non-competitive. But you have a round of fixtures, a group of 3, and then you're grouped depending on your position.
Then you can move to that sort of level.
So if you're a team who's getting beat, 2 fixtures, you might get drubbed in 2, but then after that, in theory, you should then be playing against teams. Essentially, yeah. But then what they, because it sounds like you're duping the kids. You're not, because it's not competitive. They don't know that they've been seeded effectively. Yeah. Because there's nothing to play for. It's just your group A.
You're playing against like-minded kids who are of a similar standard.
So at a push, if you start with these really small groups just to differentiate between them, you might get 2 drubbings, but then after that, not saying you win the games, but you'll have a more competitive fixture.
More of a chance.
And at school football, your standard as you go up in years isn't really going to change too much. So that's a perfect way to do it. And then have like your Nations League promotion and relegation for the teams at the bottom of the table.
That's the way. That's not the way to do it.
No, absolutely not. We are in agreement.
We better move on quickly.
No, very good. I don't know if you saw, going back to Swindon actually, sorry, I should have done that when I did the previous Swindon story. No, but did you see that Woking were moaning, but they're saying they didn't have a full strength side out, which we would hopefully will come up in our new series of fines, the Guess the Fine, sorry.
Yes, and not for the first time today, as you've done about Swindon. Towards the end of this ramble, we're going to be talking about Woking again.
Oh, okay, really good.
Very good.
But yeah, I mean, again, I know it's a lot easier at a professional level to say about not fielding a full strength side. Like, is that okay to do it in the FA Cup, or obviously it's not? But do you know what I mean? Do Woking have a point, or is it Swindon's prerogative to say we're struggling in the league?
To be honest,
we're not really bothered about that, do we?
To be honest, if I was Woking, I wouldn't give 2 damns what happened to Swindon. They just beat them 1-0.
Focus on your own club.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Move on. Fair enough.
Craig, do you want to have a go now, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to go north of the border. I want to talk about Rangers.
Oh, well, I want to talk about Scottish football more broadly after, but I'm not going to have a dig at Rangers like you did last week. Go on, mate.
Well, I think
this is all Craig Savage, just for anyone in the comments who might not know.
Agreement. No, I want to talk about...
We were certainly not in agreement. Do not rope me into what you were talking about.
I just want to talk about the game Rangers had against Hearts last week. It was fair play to them. A good 2-1 win, coming from behind.
Yeah, good performance. Excellent.
Debatable offside goal for Morelos.
Yeah.
But then I want to go on to the second half, where Scott Arfield has been sent off for trying to get...
Ludicrous.
So what happened was, the goalkeeper makes a save on the line, he's got 2 hands on the ball, and Scott Arfield has come out of nowhere.
Do you know what it reminded me of? You know back in the day on FIFA where you could just hack the keeper?
Yeah, it's like FIFA 2000.
Exactly, it was like that.
Which,
another link to our retro game series. Yes. But anyway, no, on a serious note.
And that's one of the worst games from it.
Well, they've had 8 red cards now.
Yeah, so...
3 of them from Morelos.
3 of them from Morelos.
Who got sent off in midweek after that game?
Did you see
and that was just as bad.
Did you see completely off the ball?
Just turn around and slapped him in the face.
He's elbowed him, and the referee's looking right at him.
It's a shame because, to be honest, I went up there a few weeks ago to watch them. They were awful until Morelos come on the pitch. No, I'm not saying in the grand scheme of things, he's not exactly a world beater, but he is an important player to them. But
I would argue, taking the discipline aside, I would say he's probably better than any Celtic player. I'd say he's probably he's arguably the best player in the league.
I mean, when I watched him a couple of weeks ago against
this season,
I mean. Look, you have to be realistic, and I quite enjoy going up there, and it's a really good atmosphere. And Ibrox is an amazing place to watch football, regardless of what standard it is.
Both the Old Firm clubs.
Yeah, to be honest, but you have to admit that the standard is appalling. I mean, Livingston were one of the worst football teams I've ever seen, and they're mid-table for crying out loud. I just feel like
You could see that Kilmarnock could do a Leicester, for example.
This is what I wanted to talk about, because I knew you were going to come in along Rangers, and every time someone talks about Scottish football, it ends up being a discussion about Rangers and Celtic. So I'm going to put some focus on two other clubs in your debate here. The first one is Kilmarnock.
Is it St Mirren?
It's not.
Oh.
The first one is Kilmarnock, who are top of the league. Obviously, it's only because the two below have got games in hands.
But still, they're top of the league, and it's the fourth team that's been top of the league this season.
It is, and it means that this weekend there's a top of the table clash, and one of the teams is Kilmarnock, which is lovely.
But you have to. I mean, Steve Clark. He's no mug.
To be fair, he was unlucky to get sacked in the Premier League. So let's be honest.
I think when he took over, they'd won. I think they'd got 13 points by that point.
Yeah,
he's already this season. I mean, and
this time last year, he's got 15 extra points.
Yeah, so they're on 31 or whatever.
31 now.
Given the resources, and let's be brutally honest, the support there, he's not going to match.
They're a point off 2 points a game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and they're one defeat in 11 from the middle of September. The first in that 11 games was them beating Celtic, and they've only lost to Aberdeen, or another one of the sides with a bigger budget in that league.
Exactly.
Probably up there with the Old Firm. The other team I wanted to talk about were St Johnstone.
Oh yes,
their manager got manager of the month. Unbeaten month. They've unbeaten in 7 games since a 6-0 home defeat to Celtic. And they've done a really fantastic job. They're up in 5th place. And again, it's a side you say they're on a tiny budget up there.
Yeah.
A fairly small following because they're not in one of the big fancy arenas and places and hearts of the cities. But just a really good club doing really well. I mean, they've got one of the only negative goal differences in the league and they're all the way up there. But fair play to them. They're only 6 points off the top and they've got a game in hand.
Happy days.
Happy days indeed.
Happy days indeed.
Just quickly to go to Northern Ireland.
I thought you were going to say Northern Africa there.
Not Northern Africa,
so coming up later.
That is to come later.
Exciting.
Just on a personal note, obviously Ballymena, who be my father-in-law's team, and therefore I go and watch quite whenever I go over there. I was about to say quite often, which isn't loads. But anyway, they've got top of the league.
All factually correct.
No, I go 2 or 3 times a year. Anyway, they went top of the league. They beat Linfield on Saturday. But the story was, if you watched any of the highlights, but Northern Ireland have actually done this initiative with the Latvian FA to do a referee swap. So
I like that.
Yeah. So what happens is
already did that.
Yeah. So not with Latvia though. No, but the problem was it went a bit pear-shaped. So I don't know who made this decision really. But they gave this Latvian referee his first game of doing Northern Irish football. They gave him 2 of the Belfast teams, Crusaders and Glentoran, which no matter which Belfast teams you're going to play against, there's always a bit of a needle between them. The game finished 2-2, but unfortunately sent 3 players off. If you watch it, if you do, I genuinely watch the highlights. You get them on BBC iPlayer.
You can.
3 of the softest, most ridiculous. I mean, one of them was just a good, honest tackle. But I suppose
it's the difference in culture, isn't
exactly,
it?
and that's the thing. And that's so. The managers were going. It was quite funny to watch. Both managers were like, that's the most appalling refereeing display I've ever seen, and whatever. But I think it was you've just hit the nail on the head, and someone did mention that people don't appreciate, not just Northern Ireland, but across the footballing world, that culturally, although it's the same rules, it's a completely different.
I always have that with English teams in Europe.
I think the British teams accept a tackle better than the team.
Well, you say better. They say you accept more fouls.
Yeah, exactly. But it is quite interesting that you get a referee from Latvia who sent off 3 players in what really was one of them was an genuine honest tackle. Is the referee thing a good idea, or do they need more training or more awareness of culture?
I guess if you're really talking about the reputation of the league, if Northern Irish teams have aspirations to do well in Europe and things like that, then it's a great idea.
Yeah, true. And they'll fall that way. No, that's a good point.
That's true.
Yeah,
but surely the Latvian referees must have done some research on these teams or seen what the football was like.
But why should he change his style? Would be his point.
Yeah,
because I've seen TNS in the first qualifying round of the Champions League. I know it's a Welsh team. But we talk about the British style of play, and they had a player sent off, and it cost them the tie basically. But that's the sort of thing that can be avoided.
Was that against Liverpool?
Oh, I don't know if they did that in that game as well. I only took a couple of years ago.
What I would have, if I was, in charge of all of this, obviously I'm not. I wouldn't have necessarily given them a feisty game as their first fixture.
Yeah. Did you need to tell us you weren't in charge of them?
No, but sorry, I'm
sure they could have worked that out.
But do you know what I mean? I don't think it was a sensible decision to give them a really feisty one like that. I just feel like someone's
the only learning point to be taken.
Yeah, to be honest. Like, at least bed them in a little bit before you start throwing in what is essentially a local derby.
That is true, yeah.
Anyway, that's,
I want to go down south to England and talk about Coventry City of League One. Now,
can I just tell a really quick story? You were a fan of for one night and one night only when we were on holiday.
I was smashed out of my face.
We went to it's the most random story. We were on holiday in Spain. We ended up in a curry house during happy hour.
Yeah.
And Coventry were playing
Newcastle League Cup.
And basically, I don't know how this happened, but the curry house was full of Coventry fans. And we weren't really too bothered about the result, but once we started, drinking a bit more, we suddenly become a Coventry fan.
We didn't understand what happened.
And this is the best moment of Craig's life that I've ever seen. Coventry scored a last minute. Was it an equaliser?
It was a long throw-in. Yeah, it was a long throw-in. I remember that.
Did a whole lap of the curry house, honestly. Yeah, and he sat there. Obviously, football fans sing songs. He sat there going, "We'll never die, we'll never die." As a Coventry fan for an evening, honestly, I was crying. Did a lap of the curry house.
In the end, Michael Owen scored a winner in extra time.
Yeah, and put him out. But yeah, I've never seen him celebrate an equaliser as much as he did that, and he's not even a Coventry fan. Anyway, back to the story of Coventry.
Well, those times sadly could come to an end because Coventry could fold at come the end of the season.
Surely not.
Let's be honest. They won't, and if they do, they'll reform in some form.
Yeah,
yes, there'll be another Things Club.
But why though? What's the...
Well, their rent expires at the end of the season.
We've had this so many.
So I didn't know they even rented that until recently. I didn't realise, because I know that it changed around a few times. But
so the owners have had legal problems with the owners of the stadium and with Wasps, the rugby club.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Wasps want to own all the stadium.
Which is so odd because Wasps were based in London for years.
Yeah, they're based in Wickham. Yeah. And then
but originally it was London. Then went out to Wickham.
Yeah. So Wickham, not Wickham. Wasps have owned half the stadium.
Right.
Did Coventry ever own it? Was it initially theirs and then they were running short?
I don't think they.
So odd that, isn't it?
It's a weird. I think they did to start with, and then when they went into administration,
right,
someone bought the stadium. But yeah, they're having massive problems. So the owners of the stadium will not sign a new deal, or Wasps, until the legal action goes.
Last time.
So if it doesn't, Football League wants assurances that this is going to happen by spring. Who knows what's going to happen?
Can I tell you what's going to happen?
Hopefully they don't fold.
I'll tell you exactly what happens. They'll end up playing at Sixfields again.
Yeah, they did that. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yes, it did.
So they'll end up playing Sixfield, or maybe in a year's time they can come down to Power Court.
Which is
due soon.
But even MK Dons could probably start filling that place out.
But still miles away.
No, it is obviously. Yeah, I mean it's not Coventry at the end of the day, is it?
At one point they were going to Coventry City were trying to go move to the Coventry Rugby Club, which holds about 1,000 odd seats anyway, but that can't happen now because Coventry United are playing at the Coventry Rugby Club.
It seems to be something in the region because one of their closest clubs is Nuneaton, and we all know what's happened there. So it's just something
hopefully Coventry City can sort it out by the end of the season.
Do you want to go to Africa next, or shall I talk about the FA Cup?
I've got one in Holland really quickly actually.
Oh, go on, Holland.
No, just really quickly. I don't know if you saw it, but PSV's 100% record come to an end.
Did you
weekend.
See? I hope against
Feyenoord, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly.
I don't know if I want to applaud it or. I don't know.
There's nothing to applaud. It's disgusting.
It's genius.
So
it's cheating.
Genius.
You wouldn't be saying that if you were on the pitch, would you?
I know. That's why I say it's genius.
It's not genius because if you go to a football game and you ruin.
Well, we need to. For people who haven't seen, let's quickly talk about what it was, and then you can go. So PSV, I think, were they drawing at the time? They might be 2-1 down. Anyway, either way,
they're winning.
No, because they lost, didn't they? Lost 2-1. Anyway, there must have been 1-0. Whatever happened, they were in on goal, and the bloke's about to finish, and then a final fan got another football. Threw it onto the pitch, and obviously the referee's gone. And it happened to be when there was about 4 or 5 lads in the box. So two balls bounced around everywhere.
Yeah,
people are going.
The guy took the shot to keep it safe, and they threw the ball.
At
the same
so the ref had to stop play, and the bloke was literally about to slot it into the back of the net. And
from a final point of view, Craig can say it's genius and applaud it or whatever. But genuinely, if that starts to happen every game, there's no competition.
Yeah. That's true. There were 13 consecutive wins.
So those fans who have gone to that game now haven't seen. It's no different to if a team had taken a bribe, essentially. Because the result has been deliberately chosen by one fan. One person in that 30, 40, 50,000 stadium has decided the result.
What I don't get, there's one question, I've done a little bit of reading on this, one question no one could answer me. How did he manage to get hold of a match ball? Because it was a match ball that he threw. It wasn't another ball.
You're not supposed to start again until the other match ball was recovered.
I think what they've
done... that would make sense.
So the ball boy should have recovered it before the game started.
So I think
I
think what they've done is the guy's taking the shot, it's gone wide, obviously. So the final fans got the ball, obviously trying to delay the tactics a bit more. So they've got let's get the gun again. So they've rolled another ball out for them. They've probably used a multi-ball system.
That's really bad then.
And then obviously they take the shot, and then obviously
because I've been to other grounds where you see the ball go into there, and the stewards are on it like a rash. They're starting trying to harass the fans and trying to get it back.
It's a requirement for the
it has to be. But I think it's genius, but it is bad for the game. I do agree with that.
Anyway, to the FA Cup.
To the FA Cup, indeed. It was a bit of a strange draw, really.
I didn't like the draw.
You didn't like the draw, and I didn't particularly like the draw, but it's the sort of draw that we'd normally say, in terms of characteristics, had what we'd want. So there was only one All-Premier League tie, which is something that we always say we hate.
Which is live on the BBC, did you know that?
Which is live on the BBC, which we'll get to in a minute. The other thing we had is lots of lower league teams playing lots of Premier League teams, and some of them at home. So all the characteristics of a good draw, but as you say, it just wasn't for some reason.
It just didn't click. For some
Don't know why.
Maybe because Luton got drawn early.
Maybe it was Rude Hurlick boring us to death for 15 minutes beforehand. I don't know. One of the
it was actually, to be fair, it was nice to see Martin Tyler in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Paul Ince went a bit rogue on some of it. He started talking at one point, and it was like, "No, Paul, just pull out the next ball. Like, get on with it."
Yeah,
you're not the star of the show.
Yeah, that's what's that. He's like, "Yeah, well done, lads. I've got a got for you. Get on with it, Paul."
No, do you remember one of the, what's the number?
Noisley are kicking off at 8 o'clock. Come on, Paul.
BT Sport got to do their coverage.
Can I make one point about the FA Cup draw?
Go on.
Yes.
I would much prefer. Maybe I'm being I don't know, a bit of an idiot in saying this, but I would much prefer it. You know when it's on the screen and they have the numbers down the side? I don't want to see that. I love the drama of when it comes out.
Who is it?
And you're like, right, 34. Who's 34? Like, if it's on the left, it just ruins the
They
whole
go
thing.
through it before in detail, telling you what numbers to look out for.
Yeah, and it's
I don't
like-
want to look out for any numbers. I want to be completely in the dark.
Yeah, I love
and
the drama.
That's why LMA Manager 2000 is a far better football game than the FA
But
Cup.
honestly, if I was to change one thing about it, it'd be like that. Because otherwise, if they're going to have them down the side, get rid of the numbers off the balls and just write the team on the ball. If you're going to,
that's pushing it.
No, what I mean is
It's the same thing, essentially.
Is it not? Because you've got the numbers on the left.
Yeah.
So
No.
I don't know. 24 is Preston North End. Just write Preston North End on the ball. If you're going to have 24 Preston North End written
Can
down
I
the side.
just make one suggestion to you, Charlie? Do you own a scarf?
Does
Does your household own a scarf?
Yes, why?
Just put it over the side of the screen.
It's
Okay,
not
yeah.
great because they're going to show who got through the next round, and then they'll show you the numbers
It's
straight
not a
away.
big deal, but I just think
I like
I
the
love the
randomness
drama
of
of
it.
like, right, who's
Yeah.
42? Oh, Shrewsbury. Oh no. You know what I
But
mean?
then you get obviously the ones that are not on the screen, and then you're like number 62. Oh crap! Who's had number 62?
But they're the most exciting ones. So
Exactly
if you had that
that.
for every single team,
Because it's the tenterhooks of when, for argument's sake, I know when Man United come out, it was a home draw.
Yes.
And then the next number
Just-
in slow
just
motion is like
after-
number 34, and if that's not down the side, you're like, oh my, who is it?
Who is it?
And then it comes out and it turns out it's ready. You know what I mean?
I was gutted. by
in
the way.
news for us, Luton and Man United next to each other in the draw, but in separate fixtures.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, you were going to say
So,
sorry.
Sheffield,
I've completely hijacked.
Could be
that,
a Sunday
sorry.
though. Could be a Sunday.
It could be, which is why I'm coming back on Monday now.
Could be.
One of the things I wanted to mention was some of the teams that have missed out on TV games because the BBC had picked the only All Premier League side.
Yeah, that was.
And
ridiculous.
although BT picked two crackers, they did also pick United Reading. Which
Yeah, that does make sense. To me.
United-
As a United fan, that does.
Until
make
last
sense.
year, they had that run of like 37 games in a row. They've had one off and then they're back on every time again.
Yeah.
But games like Gillingham v Cardiff's one I've picked out. League One v Premier League.
Nah.
No, but that's the characteristics we're talking about.
BBC
It's not
Wales?
it's not about having the biggest teams. It
BBC
probably will
Wales?
be. But it's not about having the biggest teams. It's about having the best draws. And
Yeah.
that's the problem I have with this one. There's Bristol City Huddersfield, which I thought was a cracker. Championship v Premier League. And pretty much an even game as well.
No.
The one that is on TV that's brilliant is Woking v Watford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
on, Woking.
No, but I agree with what you're saying. Really
They're gonna
quickly
come
about,
up again. That
for
wasn't the other
example,
occasion.
Bristol City Huddersfield. I know we're not a Premier League podcast, but they just look at the name and don't take the context of it. Obviously, Huddersfield is struggling at the minute. It's not been the greatest sort of season for them. If there's going to be an upset, it could be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that sort, but I don't think people
I don't
look
think-
at that. They just
I
see
just
United.
think- I don't
Reading.
think they'll
Let's
see-
be brutally honest. Reading have just sacked Paul Clement. The likelihood of them turning over United, the way.
Well,
that
I don't know. You
No,
never
but
know,
I'm
you
serious.
Jose.
Though, the way they're playing at the minute and all of that.
More importantly, the likelihood of that being an entertaining spectacle.
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
considering I think that was an FA Cup tie on TV a season or two ago.
Yeah, not longer. Not
No,
longer.
2 seasons
So,
ago
yeah,
probably.
anyway, go-
The other one, speaking the other way round, was Sheffield United v Barnet. There aren't many non-league teams
No.
left. Give them a chance to have
Yeah,
coverage.
yeah.
And more importantly, if that had been on TV, I would have known my game was Saturday 3 o'clock. I could have got a cheaper train home.
But I think, well, you look at a couple of seasons ago with Norwich Luton. Obviously, that's Premier League v Conference at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't pick it.
And it
ended up being a shot.
did get picked in another country. So
Yes, but it ended up
shame
being a
on
shot
England.
and England didn't pick it. But I believe Charlie's going to take us away from England now and all the way to Africa, isn't
Yeah,
he?
I've got a few.
coverage
Again, I'll whiz through these because there's quite a lot.
Oh.
First one, really, really quickly. So I'll tell you what, let's turn this into African headlines, right?
Now it's
first
time
one.
for African news.
So the African Cup of Nations
Yes.
was due to take place in Cameroon.
Yes, we
Stripped of
obviously
it, we mentioned
got
it
stripped of
before,
it as well.
And has
So
it been decided now?
that's now they think it's going to Morocco, but they hadn't decided where the next one is. So they chose the Ivory Coast without actually telling the Ivory Coast FA that they're now hosting the African Cup of Nations in 2021.
Oh.
To which point the Ivory Coast Federation have said, well, actually, we haven't got infrastructure to do it at the minute, blah, 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 for political reasons. So currently the 2021 African Cup of Nations now is up in the air because
I know where
they
it's gonna
chose a
be.
country before they actually told the country, would you like to do it or
Probably
can
ended
you?
up bloody MK Dons, wasn't it?
It's going to be in Madrid, like everything else in the moment.
So yeah, that's one of them. Going back to the only story I'm going to touch on again from last week, Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
So I got a slight incorrection in the sense of I said they were banned. No, hang on, because it turns out
that was the headline.
No. So it turns out at the time they were suspended and they've now been banned. So they've been disqualified, unfortunately.
You was waiting.
The sadness is actually that now their most capped player has retired, and there was an interview with him, and he was saying that, in a nutshell, there you go, that's one for you.
You didn't say one of them last week.
No. But I know we said about it last week, but the impact it's having on the players. But actually now, the even those fixtures, those qualifying fixtures for very disadvantaged country and stuff, and the players who play from there, it was a chance for them to be in the shop window, and they're now being punished because, as we said last week, because of political reasons. But he's saying it'll have a devastating effect on players who did nothing wrong.
Oh, it's mentality, isn't it?
Even I'm not saying look they're going to end up in the Premier League, but some of these lads, even if they go down to South Africa, which has a more competitive league than where they're from, just things like that. And now they haven't got that opportunity to showcase themselves.
I tell you what, they
in
can
a country that about going political, because they're not political at all, but in a country that is ravaged by poverty and whatever.
What so they can do,
give them that chance to get out. Is now been stripped away because of some people high up in the chain somewhere.
The dream's gone.
Well, the dream, they can play Cornwall and Canifa.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. But they can't even do that. That's the thing. They can be completely.
Oh, they can't play any international.
International.
Yes, Canifa can do that.
No, but they're not recognised. Canifa's for unrecognised. No, they're recognised. They're just banned. It's like saying he can. If you don't run in the Olympics 100 metres, you're banned from all international sport, aren't you? You know what I mean? It's not
a shame.
Yeah, it's not as so.
It's a shame for the team rather than.
Well, yeah, I just feel like it's the players who are suffering, and that was more of my sad one.
We're on page 3 now.
We're on page 3. Yeah.
Chronicles, as you've now called it.
Nice story. I'll come back with some more in a few next week. But last one I'll finish on. After a car accident, so basically there's a fella who now plays for Zimbabwe, who is the first amputee to play international football and to play professional football. So he lost his arm.
That's a good story. That's a nice story.
Lost his arm in a car accident. And
I really wondered where you were going.
No. He lost his arm in a car accident and was told that he was never going to be able to play again. Ironically, and without going into African culture, his actual first name is Hard Life. So I won't pronounce it like Hard Life Zero Kiwi. Anyway, the point being that he's the first.
I'm sure that's wrong.
No, but I think it's just a lovely story that actually, against adversity, he can still play professional football.
Anyone can play football.
Football unites us all.
It does. It does indeed.
Are you on to page 4, Charlie, or have you given?
No. I've got about.
Have you got any more? Do you want to do one more? Because I've only got a nice little sweet one to end on.
I was going to talk about the Christmas schedule, but I'm going to save that for next week.
You are going to save it for next week.
I've got about 4 African stories I'll save for next week.
Struggles at non-league.
No, I've got a really good one about a refugee, but it needs a bit more time.
Charlie will be back with the African Chronicles this time next week.
Yeah.
I want to finish us off as going back to Woking, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And just a little Christmassy story. We're coming up to that time of the year, and they've done something a bit better than that Cadbury's Advent calendar. What they've done is they have released a Christmas single. They have done their own version of Do They Know It's Christmas, Feed the World. One of their midfielders, Paul Hodges, is a musical director.
Of course he is.
And he's done a video to go along with it in the style of the old Band-Aid one. And although it's a bit of a laugh, it's a terrible song.
Is that the one with all the net players' names?
I think so. No. It's literally just them covering Do They Know It's Christmas. It's not the one you're
I
thinking.
used to like a good football song, but this is too far.
There is one where I think it's similar to that song, where you just use players' names. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a fantastic, that one. This one, not quite so fantastic. However, the cause is fantastic. They are aiming to raise funds for the York Road project in Woking, which is to help people who are homeless and on the streets at Christmas. So they've been getting the word out there. They've got a lot of support from non-league clubs.
No, I like the idea of it.
If they'd have got a proper singer, they might have raised some more money, which is the shame. But hopefully it raises a lot of money because it's a good cause. And even if it's crap, just go and... It's 99p, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for the sake of it.
Just go and do it. Support the football club, non-league football.
Do it for charity.
And yeah, exactly. Perfect ending.
And it's time for question of the day now. I've got to be honest, off air, I've been banging on about this all week because it's a new format that I want to try out and just see if this works.
Just remember, I'm 1-0 up here.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea is...
Can I just say, before you try a new format, you did slate Craig for the way he asked questions.
Yeah, this is dead easy. What is going to happen each week, I'm going to choose a particular fixture and you're going to take it in turns at sudden death of naming a player who was either in the starting 11 or come on as a substitute.
Can I just say something? I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to lose, but I love it.
No. So, this is from both teams, okay? I'll tell you the fixture in a minute, but you can name players from both teams. Sudden death. As soon as one of you gets it wrong, the other one gets it right.
Can I just say, I do fear you've stolen the old Missing Men extra game from Sky Sports website.
Sort of like that, but this time this is the whole team. If we're level, which it'll be, I imagine will be impossible.
There's
If we're
11
level,
players in the team.
This is going to be...
No, because you include the substitutes who come on the pitch. You're allowed to name people who came on. If they were an unused sub, they don't count until we've gone through all of them.
Okay.
The likelihood of that
I
happening
think
is
I know
quite
where
slim.
you're going with this.
So
Go
the
on.
game I'm going to choose, because I thought, we'll choose a different game each week, but this
Start
one,
easy.
Start easy, will be the 2009 Johnston's Paint Trophy
Oh, I
final.
knew this was going to be the one.
In which the score was Luton 3, Scunthorpe 2.
I was there. What a great
You
game.
can take it. You're going to take it in turns at a sudden death thing. Does anyone want to go first?
Yeah.
Or
Am I happy to?
Yeah, go on in.
you happy to go first? Okay.
We're going for Luton or either team.
Both teams.
Oh,
Any one of
God.
the 22 starting 11, or so just to give you a bit of context, Luton made 2 subs who came on.
They did.
Scunthorpe made 3. Okay.
Well, I'll start. Eda Safuadjay.
That's correct.
Dean
We need a bit
Brill.
of a pause between each of them. Okay, and you can only go one at a time. So yes, Eda Shafu J, or whatever you say. That's one.
Dean Brill was in goal.
He started in goal. Correct. Yes.
Michael Spillane.
He started as a centre half. Yes. Yeah.
Lewis Emmanuel.
He started left back. Yes.
Yes.
Asa Hall.
Yes, he did.
He started left
I
midfield.
can't
yes.
wait when we get to about 18. How Charlie's going to keep counting on
Okay,
his
it's
fingers.
all right. I'm okay. I don't want to do my fingers. Go.
Just letting the viewers know we're going to have a pause so we can write them down eventually.
George Pilkington.
He started at centre half. That is correct. Yes.
I'm glad you said that one because I couldn't
You struggled,
remember
didn't
it
you?
was.
You struggled.
I believe Kevin Nichols started in the holding
He
role.
did.
Kevin Nichols did start.
He
Yes.
was man of the match.
He was fantastic.
Fantastic. Keith Keane.
He was the third midfielder.
Keith Keane did play. Yes. Yes, he did. I'm loving a dramatic pause. Right.
I might as well get the obvious one out of the way. Match winner Claude Nakpa.
Yep.
He come on as a substitute in the 85th minute. Yes.
And scored the winner in
Yeah.
the 114th?
Nah, way before that.
106th.
Okay. Anyway.
I don't know why I
It was
actually
the
really
first
remember.
half. It was the first half.
We've got 9 so
you're
far.
right.
All from Luton Town. Remember, you can go to
Okay,
Scunthorpe if
I'm
you
going
like.
to go with Murphy.
I need more than that.
Oh, God, what's his name? Is it Tom Murphy?
I'm guessing that side was a no.
His name is Joe Murphy.
Ah, well,
That's an incorrect answer.
That's
I'm
an
afraid.
incorrect answer.
what?
So,
You can't do that.
In the way of sudden death, Dan, if you get this one correct, you win the game.
What?
Well, I know
I
one.
could name the rest of the Luton team here.
Well, you should have named them now.
You had the opportunity.
Chris Martin.
Is correct, Dan. You have levelled the series.
And I
at-
could have gone on for
What
days.
a
One.
joke.
So yeah, just to clarify, Craig, obviously you
Seriously.
didn't quite understand the rules of sudden death. But anyway, let's move on.
What a joke.
So,
I mean, you only said sudden death 3 times.
So just to really
no.
quickly, you've got most of the Luton squad, but I'll whiz through them really quickly. So you had Dean Brill, Eda Safu Ajay, Michael Spillane, George Pilkington, Lewis Emmanuel, Kevin Nichols, Keith Keane, Rossi Jarvis, Asa Hall, Chris Martin, Tom Craddock would have started 11. 2 subs come on, Claude Ganapka, which you've already said, and Sam Parkin. If we ever got to that stage, on the bench for Luton was also goalkeeper David Button, Sol Davis and Ian Roper. However, Scunthorpe, who we didn't manage to get anyone for, was Joe Murphy, Cliff Byrne,
That's a
Christian
joke.
Pearce,
What a joke.
First names are so important, aren't they?
Absolute joke.
David Murphin, Marcus Williams, Matt Sparrow, Henry Lansbury, Grant McCann, Kevin Hurst, Gary Hooper, Paul Hayes. 3 subs who come on for Scunthorpe were Martin Wolford, Sam Togwell, Andrew Wright, and the only other 2 lads on the bench, Josh Lillis, the goalkeeper, and Ben May.
What a player Sam Togwell was.
I quite like
What
that
a
game.
play
I know.
Grant McCann was, to be
To be fair, going into this series now it's all level again with the new format of the game. It's maybe a bit fairer anyway. So.
And to be fair,
Where's the fair?
to be fair, I didn't listen to the rules either because he said if we got all the players
Where's
right.
the fair?
But if he said we got all the players right, then we had to do the unused subs, and I'd given you all of them. So
yeah, there you
I
go.
hadn't done too well either. But thanks for throwing in a Scunthorpe.
Where's the fair? I'm gonna get.
No, what I'm saying is I mean, should we do that format next week with another game?
I'd love to.
Well, I think 2
I found it
get voted
enjoyable.
on 1, so I presume we're gonna do that. Absolute joke. But that's it for today's episode of the Ramble. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3.
Well, you made a meal of that, didn't you, mate?
Don't matter, and we'll see you next time.